These are my final words. My name is Daniel Schneider. The year is 2053, I think. And I admit defeat. What you are about to experience are my last words, my valediction. I am the last human left on the planet, but not the last sentient creature. For the last 3 years, I have been alone. I've scoured every last possible inch of this wasteland I find myself in, looking for my own kind. It became very clear to me that it had been in vain. I assumed I was doomed to walk the earth alone. Until last Thursday. While out on my daily search for life, I spotted it. A figure upon a hill. I was too far away to make out any discernible features, although there was one thing that struck me as odd. This thing was wearing a black raincoat and holding an umbrella. The weather that day was scorching. The smell of rust and decay hung heavy in the air. I couldn't believe it. I must have been fixated on the thing for almost 2 minutes before I finally acted. I dropped everything I was carrying, threw my backpack on the floor, and screamed after it, hurtling myself towards the unknown, desperate for any interaction with what I thought was another human. As I approached, the features became more visible, and I stopped dead in my tracks, around 20 feet away from what I had hoped was the end of my loneliness. This thing was not human. Its skin was a pale shade of green, eyes sunken into its face, large like golf balls. The lips were sucked in, only to show dozens of sharp red-stained teeth. It stood about 6 foot 3 inches tall, and began smiling at me. Immediately, I began my retreat, air escaping my lungs faster than they ever have before. It really put the fear of God in me. Who knows? Maybe it was God. Maybe everyone else has been raptured, and I was the pure definition of evil, left to endure the torture of exploring this fucking shithole forever. Or maybe I'm losing my mind. My mind, after all, was running 100 miles per hour, and my legs weren't far off from catching up. I gathered my thoughts and threw myself behind a pile of rubble. I didn't know what to do. On one hand, this creature had scared the shit out of me. But on the other, why was I running? I've been searching for anything that even resembles another human, and when I finally find it, I shit my pants and wish for the complete opposite. No. I don't care what this thing is. I need it. I inhaled sharply and began to peek over the rubble. As my eyes focus on the hill, I see it is still standing there, same smile plastered on its face. Its head is slightly tilted to one side, and it appears to be thinking. I stand up straight, feeling the tension in my bones. We both just peered into each other's souls in a battle of mental strength. Safe to say, I was losing, and it knew. This creature was not of this world, and the longer I looked, the more I knew it. The raincoat it was wearing seemed to be held up by nothing, as if its body was made up of just air. The next move was not a smart one. I began to approach. I made my way over the rubble, eyes remaining fixed on the fucker. If I looked away for 1 second, it could disappear, and I wasn't taking the chance. I took each step carefully, listening as hard as I could to the silence around us. It seemed with every inch I gained, the closer I got to the truth. Each night I stayed up crying, wishing for someone to come back. Every feral dog that I had to kill just to survive. The countless days of searching every town, in every city, in every goddamn state. The dirt under my fingernails, the blood in my hair. This thing knew. This creature somehow knew how it began and how it will end. Before I knew it, I was almost to the top of the hill. It's as if I had stopped controlling my body and was now under its spell. I kept advancing up that hill until we were finally face to face. I could see everything now. The empty voids of its eyes, the cracked green skin with blisters and cracks that were oozing a yellow pus. The air around us was cold and moist, and I realized I wanted the rain jacket and coat. The drool leaking from its wide, trembling smile had the consistency of tar. I looked down and I followed its gaze. This thing was holding out its hand, waiting for my touch. I could see the bones poking through the skin, and I knew what I had to do. I reached out my hand, slowly, until we were inches away from touching. Time stopped. In that moment, it was just me and them. That was until a feral dog ran straight in front of me and began to attack this creature. I jolted back, and finally was out of my trance. It was as if the entire world was dropped on my head. I fell to my knees in a daze and managed to look up to watch the most gruesome scene I have ever laid eyes upon. The dog was biting this thing on its ankle and using all its force to try and pull it to the ground. In one swift motion, the umbrella was raised into the air and brought down upon the dog's head, over and over again. Each thump echoed through my brain. Each whimper from the dog made my soul shatter. The attack was nothing but pure primal anger, and it didn't stop until there was nothing left but a pile of fur, blood, and bone. It slowly turned its head back to me and looked down once it was finished with the dog, and I could finally see what it was. It slowly reached out its hand again and opened its mouth to speak. Please. And that brings us to now. It is precisely 6 hours and 37 minutes since that incident occurred. I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened. All I know is that my time is up. I am trying to believe that it didn't really happen, that I finally have gone absolutely batshit crazy and conjured up this mental mirage to help me cope with what I need to do, what I have to do. However, this is not the case, and it did happen. So I have no choice. The way I see it, I only have one outcome. I can carry on living this life and risk running into that thing once again. Or I can take matters into my own hands and make sure it never does. What difference does it make? I'm dead, either way. Why prolong the suffering? If anybody is out there and does manage to find this, may God have mercy on your soul. Hello, sinister listeners. If you've enjoyed this story, then you'll find all the author's information in the description below. For more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to succumb to the sinister.